We are back to the CDL Florida home series event, and Joe, Rich, we've got ourselves a rematch. OpTic Gaming and the Royal Ravens have already played once. OpTic fell short. Ravens moved on. Now we're going to see if OpTic can somehow take this series and move into what would be, I believe, their second semifinal. Joe, the OpTic have what it takes.
I think what we saw earlier, I would say yes. They played a lot better, just plain and simple. And I think if you look back at their first series against London, this first map, like especially Hackney or Hardpoint, when we saw like Kenny had an off series, Chino didn't play the best. It definitely feel like we didn't see the respawn that we expected from OpTic Gaming. You know, they were able to win a Ramaz, a search and destroy. They were able to win that domination, but the hard points definitely felt off. So I think they can do it. I think they need to take a hard point, though. I think
that's pretty reasonable to say that you should definitely look at the hard points. I think London, though, obviously today was a little bit weird for him. They had a rough start. I'm a water bottle half full kind of guy. I think they have what it takes to be able to actually bounce back here. I think there's a really real shot that we do see a repeat. I know that before we actually went live, though, you guys were really looking at what the set of maps that we were going to be jumping into looks like to see how similar it really does look to what we saw earlier before we actually have this rematch start.
I think it's what one search is the same and one hard point is the same is the main thing from the first series. And yeah, I don't know, Joe, because the reason I'm kind of hyped for this is because on hard points we do predictions for who's going to come out of group, and I believe you took London and I took OpTic.
Yeah.
So I've got a narrow lead. I think I'm only up like 1 or 2 picks on you, so that is important to me. But we are going to take a look at the keys to victory
you lost
now.
one with Florida, so that's rough. How are you doing with that? You know.
Well, no, but yours was Røkkr, and you can lose that too, right?
I could, but I feel pretty good about Minnesota bouncing back.
Okay, well, it's not done yet. Our battle is still going on, Joe.
Yeah.
But let's take a look at the game fuel keys to victory now. We're going to look at the London Royal Ravens keys to victory. Wuska needs to replicate his performance. He had a 1.37 overall KD versus OpTic. He absolutely dominated, and Joe, it feels like he's getting back to the form which we missed a little bit, at least at the last event.
I mean, he just had one like a bad day, right? He's had one bad day. Yeah, he's played amazing in their first match. So yeah, for Wuska to really have a big series, and I think that's important because if you watch today, if you watched yesterday, Slasher has hit a very high level, and even since he's been the main AR for this team, Slasher has felt comfortable. It feels like the Slasher we expect is back.
He said, I was texting him a little bit, talking about stuff because the team's been struggling, and obviously, you know, I picked this team to do very well this year, and they have not gotten there yet.
True.
And he said to me, "This is the hardest I've ever had to try online in my entire career."
Perfect.
Which I think, yeah, that's what you need to do, considering circumstances and where we're at. But in the past, you know, maybe they could soar through if it was an online league, or we haven't had a lot of online play in previous seasons. But I think maybe it's finally clicked. Like, this is what we've got. I've got to give it my absolute all and carry this team forward from a passion perspective. I don't know. We'll see if they can continue to improve. But Rich, for OpTic, you know, we looked at the keys to victory.
I have no faith in OpTic. I haven't really the entirety of the year. Every time that I start to get my hopes up, they get crushed very quickly. After listening, though, to Slasher, like you did mention in that interview, it's easy to get kind of riled up, but I 100% think the Ravens are going to be able to take this series.
It felt like he was sort of calling out maybe Dashy and TJ without specifically calling out Dashy and TJ by name. I mean, we know that they took some flack in the past. When you think about Teep coaching with OpTic Gaming, and there were rumors all over the place. Not even really rumors. There was just stuff being shouted out that they didn't give it their all in practice. He flat out said their team as a whole is not giving it all in practice. How did you read that, Joe?
I mean, yeah, we've kind of known that, right? Like, the younger guys just haven't cared as much, which is just surprising considering their careers just started. It's just starting to lift off, but we'll see. Maybe that big win this morning motivated them to move on. They have a real chance here. It's like wild because I think for both of these teams, you look at the semifinal and say, I get a chance to play the Toronto Ultra in the semi if I win this match. I think that's pretty motivating. Not saying that Toronto hasn't impressed us this weekend. They have. But you have a good shot at making a grand final.
No.
Right? Like,
you
it's
can
just
flat
what
out
it
say
is.
it. I mean, Yeah, no, that is a dream matchup.
Yeah,
yes, I don't care if they've been improving.
Atlanta FaZe. So, like, if
Yes,
I had to pick, I think I know which side I'm picking. That's just what it is. So, like, yeah, like, there's been some surprises this weekend, and they can take advantage of this.
I feel like coming into
CDL
this
points.
weekend, that was one of the big things. You looked at the field of play, and you knew there were a few teams that were typically sharks in the bracket that weren't going to be here. So this is definitely a weekend where you want to be coming out and having some of your best performances.
Well, let's take a look at the U.S. Air Force Quickscope, but this also brings us to another painful point, Joe. Our good buddy JCap, I believe when Simp came in for him on E-United, E-United won the very next event. Imagine if Chino comes in here and somehow OpTic win this weekend.
I mean, listen, and again, because if you look at like what Chino did against London last series, it wasn't great. They had a .73. I don't know if it's more of the whole team. I don't think it's a him problem as much as it was a team problem. They brought somebody new in to sort of just refresh everything. It's a tough situation is what it is.
It absolutely is. But after we wrap up the quick scope here and taking a look through stuff, I do want to take a look at the maps and modes presented by the U.S. Army as we'll look through the 1 through 5, how these are going to play out. We kind of alluded to the fact that 2 of the maps are going to be from their series that we saw yesterday. 3 are going to be brand new to this, but as we go through the maps and modes, Joe, Rich, is there anything that really stands out to you as being, I don't know, maybe an improvement for either team from the previous year?
I will go with, I think Cave's a great map for OpTic, right? We talk about Chino and Slasher, so that should be much better than what Hackney Yard was. Gunrunner Hardpoint was one. I thought OpTic, they could have played that a lot better, so I'm excited to see that if we go to a map 4.
Rich, for you, U.S. Air Force maps and modes, any big takeaways?
What Joe had hit on earlier, too, with these maps that we have already been to. If we start to see the tides change on those, maybe we can see the series go the other way.
Joe, I think for OpTic, and I think they've said this, like, if they're going to beat good teams, they need to win hardpoints. Does it really just solely come down to hardpoint for you?
I mean, not necessarily. We're going to see a Petro S&D that they haven't played all year in an official match. Same with London. They're 0-1. So, like, there's definitely, they have to win their searches. Like, that was a surprise to us yesterday, is that they won the game 2. We thought looking at that map set yesterday, well, OpTic could get away with it just due to their talent. Kenny has a bad map, number 1. Like, absolutely not. Like, London is still a very good team from top to bottom. They have to perform in all the game modes.
I think with you're a struggling team like this, and you're making a change, especially when you have top players. There needs to be that moment maybe where you start to believe in yourself. Like if you're OpTic Gaming, something clicks where you believe in your ability to win again. When you are a champion MVP caliber team, when you think about the pieces on this, what do you think it takes? Like what does it take to have that moment for these guys, Joe?
For OpTic, it would probably be a win. It would be a home series win. To me, that's it. That would be it. It's just sort of the confidence. Even losing in a semi or a final, like maybe you feel good if you lose like a close final, but I still think for these guys, they would need a home series victory.
And do you think, Rich, like as we take a look at the London Royal Ravens lineup, the expectation might be lower, like for it to click for them, it might not take a win, just considering you don't have that success.
Yeah, I think we talked about it all the way back when we were at their home series, right? Like this was a team that's been fighting for a win for such a long time. I don't think that they're going to have the pressure of expectations fighting against them at all. And I think that this is a roster where the expectation's in that perfect place. Nobody expects them to come out and look terrible, but there is an expectation that they can win, and hopefully they can rise up and accomplish something like that. I do want to ask though, when you get roster changes, Merc, I know that people have been talking about this quite a bit, the idea of those honeymoon periods. Do you believe in that at all? Do you think that is something that can happen when teams make roster changes?
Yeah, and I mean, like we talked about it yesterday. It was like Chino's gonna bring a different vibe, right? He's like he's a great guy. Slasher is teamed with him before. Kenny is teamed with him before. They've had good success. So yeah, I think so. Like they're just having maybe a little bit more fun. Do we still think like maybe this team's still a trade away from seriously contending every single home series? Absolutely. But yeah, there is very much a honeymoon period after a roster change because it motivates everybody, right? It's the same thing with New York. Is Mac that one of the best players in the world? We're not exactly sure yet, but we know that he has had an impact on the team, maybe to motivate them, to continue to practice. It's just sort of like a rebuilding moment where the motivation's at an all-time high.
It's crazy to think that, I think on Hardpoints we discussed it a little bit, like what would they need to do? Joe, I think I asked you, what would they need to do? What would they need to place to maybe not think about a trade and play with Chino? Didn't we kind of land on make it to a final?
A win, probably. I think even making it to a final.
You think it's a win?
Yeah, I think a win. And at that point, I don't know. I know these guys, right? Like they know anything can happen from weekend to weekend, so.
All right, well, Rich, it is time to get into the map. Thank you so much for your expertise, good looks, and just incredible knowledge. As we get ready to hop into the map, I hope you have a wondrous remainder to your evening.
Bye.
Bye, Rich. Just a little bye from Rich. All right, right into it we go. OpTic Ravens rematch. We're going to kick it off on Azir Cave. And, God, I for one, I know you said the Hardpoint's not everything, especially with the map 2 and the lack of reps for OpTic, but I just feel like for them it'd be so massive, man, to know you can take a strong respawn team out in the game 1 as Dashy starts off with a lovely double. Oh, make it 3.
Yeah, Dashy.
About to be 4. Yeah. I thought it was about to be 4.
He's pulling out the knife as well. You won't see Dashy with the M4, right? That's the one thing where when you bring in Chino, he's going to run that second AR in there. We're on board with him. Some nice shots. He's able to earn some early time. Slasher now watching over the hill. But yeah, I mean, Dashy with that MP5, he can make such a giant impact. But we'll see what OpTic Gaming can do after this first hill. As London right now, you see Wuskin's position on the map, number 0. He's just watching over. We're going to be rotating over to KV. So what OpTic want to do right now is just earn as much time as possible.
Wait, I got a tweet. Did I get that wrong? I thought they won the first event when Sim came in. Did they get second? When Sim came in for Cap? I'm trying to remember back. What was the first event? I thought they won.
They got second with at London.
They did get second.
Yeah, London.
That's right. Okay, They did get second. I was thinking for some reason they came in and won right away.
They got second, and they got like 4th at Anaheim.
Ah, that's right. That's right. I remember that completely wrong. For some reason, I just remember Sim coming in and winning everything.
Final
that's what my memory is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for the correction to whoever. I think it was Denton on Twitter. Appreciate that.
But while you were thinking about that, OpTic did a very good job to get into this hill and contest some time. TJ was making plays. Dashy on another 4 spree. All green in the kill feed. TJ's on the rotation over to field. And that was a great job by OpTic LA.
More often than not, that'll be the biggest hard point on the map. And whoever's able to get the big hold, the big break, can be the defining moment over the course of the game. But I do want to see if Dashy's streak can continue to grow. 8-4 on a 4 streak for now. We'll hop over to his POV, and well, the reason we're not on with him is because he's just soaking up the remainder of the time. So now we'll see if he starts to get things into motion back to mid-map, gets a little help from Kenny and able to stay up, but then Dylan has his number. As OpTic put up the time, it's now going to be Ravens with the early setup, looking to answer back.
Yeah, and Chino's trying to work the far side. You can see through the X-ray where Wuskin's looking. That's where Chino is, and Chino's worried not only about the the pinch on this hill, but also the final one. He's able to earn another 2 kills. This will allow his team to push from Broken side. A nice job by Chino. Now Slasher top Broken, just watching over his teammates. Not able to get too much time just yet, but this has allowed them to to at least get on, contest, let their presence be known.
Making their presence, they are. Now look at the top of the minimap right now. Early rotation for Ravens is going to be Shawnee who gets in, but Shawnee's going to get caught by TJ instantly. We'll hop out to the sky cam. The battle goes down for Cave side west. Slasher has a whirl of people in front of him. Dylan's able to pick his head off. Dylan and Wuskin find all the kills. That'll be the setup. And then with kind of a setup flank, I think that's going to be number 6 in Scraps that found a kill on one of the players trying to move over towards the hard point for OpTic. But now you have a 4-on-4 fight. This is the big one, and look at the kill feed. It is all Ravens.
But where are they going to spawn?
They lock it down.
Jerd has gone on such a far pinch. He was able to win the first one-on-one. He spawned OpTic Gaming LA so far away. I think one player spawned mid-cave, the rest really deep by Cave East, where, yeah, the first 30 seconds of this hill went all their way. And the rest may as well. You see the kill feed, all London Royal Ravens. Finally, some pressure from TJ and Chino. They're able to take 3 down. They're able to take 4 down. Dashy finds number 5. This is big scrap time. They're also on the rotation as we head to Cliff Path.
It would have been great to break that maybe a little bit earlier, but 20 points is nothing. Yeah, 20 points is 20 points. They'll get back in with a 5 remaining. Now over to Dashy's POV as he's working the broken building side of the map, right at that bridge that heads to to this outpost Hardpoint. How many kills can he find? His teammates drop and they get the close spawn out towards the back outpost building. They're going to look to hit this through Cave. And Dashy's got all this information. I mean, Dashy's so far pushed up. He knows they're not coming from that side of the map. So everyone, now you see all the green arrows, they're going to focus towards the top. Just going to be pre-aimed for this push. Will they have the numbers to deal with it? Kenny's going to have to go huge, and he does that. He's able to take down 2. Chino picks up the last, but now the parallel spawn in the back is here for the Ravens.
Well, you know, we talked about Dashy's position as he's now able to get into the fight as he's on another 6 spree. Dashy hitting big levels this map with that MP5. But yeah, even with the closer spawn for London, OpTic still were able to make the adjustments on the hill, still able to find the kills. And now this is great for OpTic because you look at the London's position as we rotate back to the first hill, they can trap them back here if they're able to find the kills. TJ's already through mid-cave. Chino's watching over him. And we'll see as they try to set up for the first hill once again.
It worked out. I was a little worried about it because typically we'll see teams push out the cave side, right? You try to funnel them through that bridge. Maybe it's a little bit easier to hold. It's that tight little window, but he was so far pushed out that side of the map, it was a bit different of a hold and break than we're maybe used to seeing sometimes on the map. But now, you talked about the early setup, but all the kills come through for Ravens. Yeah, 2 in a row for Scrap, Shawnee, and Jerd as they make the play. Where OpTic Gaming really did a good job the first time through. What's that cave side east? I think it's Kenny that got a kill inside a cave to maybe alleviate some of the pressure from that side of the map, but he's actually going to track back towards the hard point and clear them out of it. That leaves an opening now for Shawnee to maintain control of the east side of the cave.
And just due to Kenny's position, because he was able to win that one-on-one, you see what happens. 2 players rotated back in Shawnee and Dylan. This opens up Cliff Path. Guess who's hitting it? It's TJ. Can he make the individual play? He's just going to get all the way towards the back and try to just wait for his teammates. This is always a tough spot, right? Because you do have to wait. When is the right time? It has to be perfect. We're going to continue to wait on TJ, but his teammates have to get the kills at the front of the hill. He's going to pop out, able to find the first. Can he help his teammates in the hill now? There's the second. There's the spawn by Chino in the back. Can they find the kills now as Dylan's on a 5 spree? The pistol out. Nice shots on his Scraps, and there we go. Due to TJ's play, they're able to get the close spawns.
Yeah, as soon as they got 1 kill inside a cave, he just went, right? He flew in, and the timing could not have worked out more perfectly. They still haven't been able to get a ton of time here, but still a great heads-up play from TJ. They're still going to be down 20 points, but London have done a good job making it messy, right? Like, no one's been in the hard point for what? The last, like, 15,
it was the
20
set of kills after TJ's play, where if OpTic get, like, 3 or 4 dead, that earns them a lot of time, but there was still a lot of contest.
Well, and there was a team killer, too, for OpTic. I think I saw Trophy killed 1 player. Slasher might have shot 1. Like, there was a bit of a mess in that mid-cut.
Yeah, just taking a look at the scoreboard, it's surprising. Like, the OpTic Gaming ARs are struggling. Slasher and Chino both double negative. But your pressure right now, your kills are the sub side, which we typically don't see. Like, you see Wuskin +7. You know, Shawnee's around even. So that just tells you really the story of this game.
Yeah, I mean, Slasher's been having a great weekend so far too.
Yeah, he's been
characteristically double negative.
Nasty.
Yeah. Don't see that often. Probably we'll see if he can step it up over the remainder of the map. The Wuskin certainly getting the opening laugh from that regard as Wuskin 24 and 16. OpTic battle back through. Early on the rotation this time is going to be the new guy Chino and TJ to help him out with Cave Side West. Now this is where Ravens really went off, right? It was what, Wuskin? I think Dylan got like 4 or 5 kills to kind of open it up, and from there, I think OpTic didn't break in until final 20 or so seconds. It's OpTic's turn now to bring the pain inside the cave. Kenny looking to finesse his life outside.
That pinch is being set up. They're trying to hit around. 4 go dead. Scraps is the last player left. What impact can he make? He actually flips the spawns. He flips the spawns. Jerd is then inside that middle of the cave, and there we go. The pinch is there. Scraps and Jerd make the plays.
A beautiful play from London. In they go. Now pinching on the other side. I think it was Chino trying to get it done.
And then they do it. They do it right back.
Yeah, OpTic get right back in. They spawn them all the way out that southwest side of the map.
Now it's a foot race.
That was kind of absurd, right? Like, perfect pinch and break, followed by a perfect pinch and break. And now to the foot race you mentioned. Shawnee will get a trophy out as he'll look to get set up inside first. He looks over Dylan. But OpTic does have several players in the backside. The Semtex will connect. Kenny's able to get 2. Having a far better map 1 than he did the last 2 times these guys played.
Yeah, just
looking to really rebound after that. Yeah, double, triple negative effort he had.
And this is great for OpTic because they won the fight early on, even down a man while their last player was earning the rest of the time at Cave West. Now, can they hold on? TJ's inside the hill, earning some time. The push is coming through. TJ goes big inside again. Kenny in the back. It's all up to Jerd. He's the last man left on this push, just trying to stay alive. But here comes TJ as he gets aggressive near that cliff path.
And Wuskin shuts him down with the timeout going to OpTic. Now eclipsing the 200-point mark with 25 seconds to go. OpTic looking to make a statement in this map 1. Get back to a semifinal date if they can. Slasher, Chino, Kenny all lighten up the kill feed as London look to rebound back. We'll now get into our third set of rotations. And you see the Royal Ravens kind of staggered across mid-map and Eastside Cave.
Yeah, you see what they're trying to set up? They're trying to earn some time, but they're so heavy towards the east side. They want to try to flip these spawns. You see who's at Jerd's position, number 9. Are they going to be able to do so? And they do. Dashy spawns out. But here's the thing for OpTic Gaming LA. They can win on this hill if they put enough resources on it. Kenny's able to win the first one-on-one. Dashy with another one. Jerd now, you did a great job helping your team flip, but now you have to get on the hill. OpTic Gaming 13 seconds away from winning this one.
They're going for the jugular now, and they're also looking to get cave side control. The beginning of the hardpoint's been so good. All the pressure now on Ravens to try and battle back in. OpTic Gaming lighting it up. There's Kenny going huge. What a big map 1 it was for him. And OpTic Gaming take the map 1 with a huge result in this best of 5. What an answer from Kenny.
And there we go. I mean, Kenny, Dashy, TJ, all with the MP5. The 3 Musketeers going big for OpTic Gaming.
Yeah, Slasher's like, great job, guys.
But yeah, I mean, really, what it was that Cave West to Cliff Path. That's where they really took the lead. And then London tried to set up the trap for the first hill. They're able to break it so easily. And they just say, screw the rotation. We're going to try to win it right here. And they do.
Oh, and we know this map subs can go off, right? Like we've seen Semp drop 49.
Yeah.
It's not like it's impossible to do, but just with the way this team has been performing, there's been so much more pressure on the ARs, so much more highlight on the ARs. You expect that's maybe where it's going to come from, but look at that. 33 double bombs from Kenny and Dashy is enough to get it done. The slaying differential, not really that massive. I mean, what? Probably somewhere between 5 and 10 if you do the math. 50-point game, though. Down to the crunch time. It is all OpTic Gaming. And they'll get the clutch victory.
And you just saw the cams there, man. You saw a little smile from Chino, a little smile from Slasher. They're the only 2 with the cams on. But looking at the damage, 3,900 damage from Dashy. I know that him and Kenny led the way, but that man with an MP5 putting up some dangerous stats right there.
And you saw it from the get-go, right? I'm like, oh, nice double. Oh, never mind, that's 3. Right, okay, I think he's about to get 4. Like, yeah, he was twisted right out the gate. As Dashy, I think with it was interesting maybe when you had JCap on the roster and whether or not Dashy was going to be the main AR, the flex, the MP5. Like with Chino coming in, like there's just no debate anymore. Like Dashy kind of has to be the main sub, and he just has to accept that. That is what he's doing now on this team until maybe a further changes happen. And I wonder if he's going to improve because of that. Like there's no argument to be made. There's no discussion to be made. He is now a sub. He needs to fry.
It's actually kind of interesting because Cap could do what Chino does with an AR. I mean, I'm sure at some point they tried it, but maybe. I mean, it does kind of make sense even with Cap in that position to run that second AR. But either way, OpTic Gaming able to win map 1, and yeah, that's just the discussion right now. Just the way that Kenny, Dashy, and TJ are playing. This is what we've been waiting for. Can they keep it going though?
Well, let's now take a look at the scuff play of the game, and it's going to be the final moments where OpTic go huge. They make the plays down the stretch to get the victory. Yeah, it was a while. Back and forth affair. Both teams getting some big pinches and breaks. Both teams getting some nice early setups they were able to lock down. I mean, it was a really hotly contested map. I know it's not one of those 250 to 248 nail biters, but it really came down to the final hardpoint. I thought we were going to get to a cave side east, but the fact that they got that break on the opening hardpoint and got the first 20 or so seconds. Right. That went from maybe we can play for another hardpoint to, oh my God, we're going to lose this if we don't get in.
Yeah, and I think we've seen that as Cave has evolved, the way teams have just handled Cave East, right? Like even throughout this game where that was typically a money hill, on this map, both teams split it pretty evenly. Where did they earn majority of the time? I think Cave West for both of them. And then Cliff Path for OpTic Gaming is where they've probably found the 60-point advantage.
That's true. Yeah, they were really, really good. When you talk about the Cliff Path, the tail end of that rotation, we're going to take a look at our updated bracket just to show you where we stand. The big thing we have going on to close the night, it's Ravens versus OpTic for a spot in the semifinals. It's Røkkr versus Subliner for a spot in the semifinals. We've been talking about the sub play so much and the subliners and just sub everything, Joe.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting to see the teams waiting because you see where it says bracket reseeded on there. So it sort of highlights the flip. So I know it looks a little confusing at times, but the winner of Ravens, OpTic will go up and play Ultra. The winner of Røkkr and Subliners will go down and play FaZe. And yeah, if you're Ravens or OpTic, then where you sit in the standings and you see Ultra sitting there in a semifinal, you just got to be seeing green, seeing cash, seeing like this is our chance, this is our opportunity.
Yeah, and
we know how difficult the semifinals have been for the most part when you talk about matchup.
And then I mean, even for New York, Minnesota, which later on tonight, that could be a bloodbath, right? And then you got to play FaZe tomorrow, like first match. It stinks, but hey, that's what happens when you lose early on in groups.
Yeah, but think about that matchup either way. Like
the
last time Subliners play FaZe, win a map 5. The last time Røkkr played FaZe, every time they play them, it basically goes to a map 5. So both of those teams, I think, are a tough matchup for FaZe. Either way you look at it, that should be an incredible semifinal. And then on the other side, I don't know. I mean, we're so much talking about how. I just want to make sure we're wording this correctly. Like Ultra could absolutely beat either of these two teams the way they're playing. But
they play better than both of these teams this weekend.
Yes, without question. But there's a difference between seeing FaZe there and Ultra there. It's just that's what it is.
Yeah, it's just the consistency throughout the year that we've seen, right? Like could this just be a good weekend for Toronto? We don't know. I mean, I hope this turns into a lot of success for the Toronto Ultra and the roster that they've been trying to figure out. But yeah, I think both teams will be happy with that semi.
And do you agree kind of with what Chance was saying? Like we're at that point in the year where everyone's sort of starting to catch up. Like teams have learned to play the right way, and that's maybe why it seems like it's getting even more competitive with, OpTic improving, London improving, Subliners improving, Ultra seemingly improving. Like everyone seems to be improving, and that gap between, your Empire, your FaZe, your Huntsman seems to be closing a little bit, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think we've talked about that time and time again, right? Even with like Minnesota Røkkr, like that's sort of the worry now. Like now that they're no longer ahead of everyone, can they keep up talent and slaying wise? And I think really the key, especially around like those respawns, the difference in the match will most of the time be search and destroy.
But do you think it's getting to that point where it's less, yes, the search and destroy, but it's less about now knowing how to play the game, and it's going to get to that point where it usually does each year, where more comes down to the talent on the roster?
Yeah, I do indeed.
I mean, I feel like we get to that point kind of every year. Like it's like the strats don't shine as much necessarily. The talent really starts to shine through as who's just got the better players. Not always the case, but we're watching Kenny as he's tiptoeing forward, working the flank all the way through this river side of the map. There's the pick. Wuskin's gonna get caught. Doesn't see it coming at all. You see now number 7 has to turn his head like, where the hell did Kenny go? Kenny puts in more shots. Simtex out. The push should come in, but the nade's going to connect. Kenny is making the plays. Kenny now with 3, an absolute madman as Kenny is running the map.
Yeah, and I mean, I loved his response yesterday after the game, right? It was just like, we know we're not playing well. Like, the factors we're dealing with sucks right now on top of, like, the fact that we aren't playing well. So just I don't know. It feels like they are motivated. Ever since the change, it feels like they just want to, finally, they want to just, like, shut people up.
Yeah. Well, run to the final could do absolutely that. Nice round, though, from OpTic. And by that, I mean nice round by Kenny. Kenny just dominated.
And this is an interesting map because you're 0-1 for London. You haven't played this officially if you're OpTic Gaming yet. We've seen Petrograd, S&D really come more and more into official matches because I think these vetoes are starting to switch up a little bit more.
Yeah, when we first played this, like in wagers at the beginning of the year, we were like, you're not going to see this much. But I know some spawns have, some tweaks have happened to the spawns. It's changed quite a bit, but I do feel like we're seeing it a lot more than we did early in the year.
Yeah, teams are, well, it's like, well, we don't want to play teams on Piccadilly. We don't want to play teams on Ramaza. So, like, what are we going to play them on? And it feels like this is the map that's replaced that as we get deep into this round now, 2 versus 2. OpTic Gaming, you see what they're doing. They're just waiting for the rotation. they know that London knows they made it to the B site, so they're trying to catch them as they rotate out of A, and they do that perfectly. They're able to find Shawnee. Now it's a 1v2 for Kenny and TJ.
Can Dylan find a lucky timing?
Oh, he heard him.
He's going to know they're wrapping. I thought for a second he wasn't going to shoot. I mean, he doesn't have Deddy to work with, so maybe you have to try and catch one there, but I feel like maybe he can make a sneakier play from that spot.
I think what he's hoping is he just finds one. We know what the MP5 can do. If he can catch the arch, catch one off guard, if they take a wider angle.
He is dead silence there. He probably plays that very differently.
Yes.
But with no dead silence, that's a much more difficult spot. Just unfortunately couldn't hit the shots to turn into the 1v1. As what? Good patience from Kenny and TJ mid-map in the 2 versus 2. OpTic go up 2-0. It's a 4-0 start from Kenny. It's a 4-0 start from TJ as they've dominated the first 2 opening rounds.
It's crazy what happens when your really good S&D players play well.
I mean, not that TJ's been maybe back to superstar form, but I think this is the best we've seen him so far, right?
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt about it. As well, he's going to find a first blood. He's going to find his 5th kill of the round. He's just shooting through smoke, trying to catch the London Royal Ravens off guard. Chino, though, is actually the one who gets caught off guard. TJ with a very quick trade to make this a 3 versus 3. Is Wuskin with a nice snipe on the Dashy.
You got to think these calls are coming into Slasher. From TJ. Trapped in such a tough spot as there's 3 OpTic Gaming members here, and really the only person to help him is Wuskin, who's worried about the flank.
And he's got a sniper, right? He's got a snipe. So OpTic knows he has a snipe, so they're just going to put the pressure on Traps.
Help me out, bro.
Yeah.
Bro.
I mean, what is he going to do in this position?
Yeah.
Absolutely trying to run. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely nothing. And that, I think, was TJ again, right? He gets the first blood. He keeps finessing that doorway. He gets a 2nd kill. Kenny closes it out. It's the Kenny TJ show still.
I mean, these two were on different teams last year, but I think they were some of the most exciting Search and Destroy players to watch, like, because they both brought such a fast pace to S&D. Like, they were the entry guys. I remember for 100 Thieves, when Kenny would, wherever he would go, typically that's where the action was.
You only have 5 total kills for the Ravens right now. There has not been anything to write home about through these first 3 rounds. Kenny and TJ, 12-0 combined. They have 12 of their team's 14 kills. TJ looking for another first blood. Feeling himself.
Yeah, Dylan and Jared playing very aggressive, and you can see what happens when you slow the rounds down, right? It gets those blue arrows moving, a nice smoke. Keeps them towards the A site. When are they going to rotate out of B? That's what OpTic Gaming is trying to force them to do. Sorry, out of A. And, well, middle street's wide open. And, well,
I think TJ and Dashy both just went up mid-map with dead silence.
Yep.
Like they both popped and just flew up those mid-tracks. There will come the first blood again for OpTic Gaming. TJ should get another. I think he just spotted one at the doorway.
And this is just a split push. It's the same thing where the players at B have to stay there. So you cut off the middle of the street. You then hit it from both sides. Just set up a pinch, and they did it perfectly that round.
Are you surprised with all the turmoil there's been from OpTic that they look so clean and searched the last 2 times we passed? Well, to be fair, the last time like Slasher had to like clutch 4 rounds, so I take that back.
Yeah, that Ramaza.
Yeah, this one they look really clean, but I feel like a couple times we've cast it, like their search looks so like just looks good, like which I guess is unexpected for me when you have a team that seems to be struggling with everything else.
Yeah, maybe just I mean, we don't know. We're not exactly sure how much they've been practicing it, but
I think they have some players with some good search instincts. Like I remember talking to Pac-Man about this years ago. Like some stuff you can't teach in search. It's just how it is, man. Some players are just better at search, and you've got some on your squad. It's now, by the way, 15-0 for Kenny and TJ. They have not dropped yet. They might have a flawless game.
Died.
Oh,
as soon as
well,
you said that's a cast or curse right there. Why'd you say anything?
I'm so sorry. It's not my fault. Kenny's still got a chance, though. Yeah, that timing was pretty bad.
And I think, though, too, like, where they've been like sitting idle these last couple of home series, where teams have started to play this more and more, you can just sort of dissect the way the map's being played. You can see what's been successful for teams like Atlanta, for teams like Dallas, and you can take those strats.
That might absolutely be the case. They're up 4-0. They have the numbers 3v2 with 35 seconds to go, and Bomb down in a precarious position as Shawnee and Wuskin are going to have to try and work for it. Chino's got eyes. Chino with the beams. And now it's Wuskin and his trusty sniper all alone. And quite literally nothing he can do unless he world stars 3 players. Okay. All right. There's one. I was like, if he looked up, he just snapped up to Dashy. I was like, oh, Dashy's getting pieced.
Well, the round's
But now
over.
he's got to think about the plant. Slasher's here. No time. Slasher ends the round. 5-0. OpTic Gaming.
Well, I mean, I guess the one storyline is that you Casterkers, both Kenny and TJ. What do you got, Flint?
Trying to make me feel bad?
Yeah, I am.
Am I gonna get a letter from Mud Dog?
I don't think so. No, I don't think you will.
Yeah. Can they go with the perfect game? Close it out 6-0. Dude, when you look at the stats on Ravens, dude, I know it's 5-0, but woo! 1 kill for Scraps and Johnny. Jared's got a goose egg.
And even like the Wuskin 5 kills, they haven't impacted much, right? Like the 5 snipes or whatever kills he's been finding, he's been the last alive. So
yeah, I think he had 1 first blood. But that's the only one I think that you can say mattered. Everything else, not really.
yeah, not much.
It's patience on the build-up for the offense once again from OpTic Gaming. Last time they were in this position, they used Dead Silence to hit through mid-map. Dashy has it available again. TJ does not. There will be no Dead Silence for Dashy because he is dead.
Can he find an opening, or do they know he's doing this? It feels like they know he is. Yeah, Scraps is going to find him. I think he was watching the cross from the top window as he was working that street. 2 versus 4. Slasher's able to find one on Shawnee. They don't have the bomb yet, so they can't work the plant. Yeah, Slasher knows he has to go back and work for it. TJ inside these boxes, trying to finesse around the smoke. What plays can he make? He's able to find one.
He's just going to get out with his life as well, and now Slasher's going to come in, well, right into Dylan's web.
Yeah.
Knock, knock, who's there? Dylan. TJ, though, still alive. Just no time to work with. Bomb stuck on the first floor door. That'll be a round to the Royal Ravens. Wasn't the, wait, what map? Why am I blanking right now? The full solo that just happened. Was it this map?
Minnesota, Chicago, yep.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay. For some reason, I was struggling picturing, like, what map it was. So we've seen crazier things, Joe.
Yeah, the reason, Clint, that is so impressive is because that happened once 7 years ago.
So you think it happening a week or two later is...
It's pretty tough.
Probably unrealistic.
Yeah, probably unrealistic.
I'm selling the story, Joe. I'm a salesman.
Okay.
Chino with the first blood. Trying to spot more in the cargo containers, and he does. Shawnee's kneecap's about ripped off, but out comes Dylan as he's able to pounce onto the attack. 4 versus 4 now. Kenny's going to get beamed as well from the God Box. Nice shots from Scraps.
Yeah, and I don't know if they know Wuskin. Wuskin's all the way back cafe, but this might hurt his team. There was such a wide gap there that the double flank comes through. He can't tell anyone, and he is left alone on an island with a sniper. Who would have thought?
Yeah, that's a tough one because he just has no eyes on that whatsoever. Surprise. OpTic Gaming is here. Gets a little bit of an audio cue on the positioning of OpTic. That Slasher just closing the door.
1D. Bang.
Yeah, come on, give me the taps. Give me the taps. Give me the taps. There's one. Okay, it's 2 taps, but I'll take it. Buys him 4 for his trouble. 20 seconds now to go on the clock. 1v1 verse the new man, Chino. Money Cheen, some would call him. Big Money Cheen working the clock.
And I think with that nade thrown, I think he knows he can't be on the bomb. He should know. Yeah, he's not on it. Oh, he's there! Oh, but Chino wins it. Oh,
yeah, he got there just in time. He got there just in time. We'll close the book on that one, Joe, and OpTic Gaming will get the 6-1 victory. 50-point game 1 victory, dominant in the search and destroy, and now OpTic 1 win away from getting back to a semifinal.
And you just have to talk about like them changing up their vetoes, right? Just playing them on different maps, you know, getting rid of Hackney Yard Hardpoint. You know, that's what we talk about. Sometimes it's difficult to beat a team twice in one weekend. The match isn't over yet, but the adjustments are obviously paying off for OpTic Gaming.
And poor Jerd, I believe, put up the goose egg. Jerd, we love you, pal, but that's always going to be difficult to look at. 0-6 from Jerd. Not that anyone really had a great game statistically, but then the numbers, what was it? 17-5 combined then for Kenny and TJ. They just took over the map. I mean, really, those first 2 rounds, you had a 3-kill round from Kenny to start, you had a 3-kill round from Kenny to follow up in the round 2. They were just rolling, man. It just felt like, I don't know, the map was coming to them. I know they were playing aggressive and they were finding the angles, but they were feeling it for sure.
Yeah, the confidence was there. Like, you know, they do that where they, you know, you have that sort of like flank right away. Maybe Kenny gets shut down. Might not look to do that as often as he has. But as soon as those rounds start flowing, it feels like everything you do works no matter what. And the kills come to you. And that's what it felt like for TJ and Kenny.
All right, we're going to take a look at something. I believe there's a Warzone weapon charm you're able to get for the CDL. You can toss it on your weapon. I know everybody loves weapon charms, weapon skins. You want to make them look beautiful, don't you, Joe?
Yeah, you sure do, man. I mean, the Call of Duty League skins make them look beautiful as well. Look at that weapon charm.
Ooh, it's just glorious, Joe. So you can just drop that on someone's forehead when you're putting up 30 on the map, Joe. 30 bomb DeLuca. God, it is a pleasure to be able to cast with you.
Well, I mean, you know, I appreciate it, but you're the GOAT, bro. You got the award, not me.
You're the world's greatest Warzone player, and I will not.
I'm
not hear you not accept that.
I'm not.
The world's greatest Warzone player.
I'm not going to accept that.
There has
King
never
Teep
been
is out there.
a better
King
player.
Teep is out there, Maven. We cannot shun King Teep.
Oh, you're right. Lord Teep, if you're watching, we love you, buddy. You are our king. We bow down before you. But we're coming back with the Game 3 shortly. It's OpTic Gaming up 2-0. Looking for a berth into a semifinal. Can they close it out here in the Domination? We'll be right back.
Call of Duty League is brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Stay connected to what matters most with the best value in wireless.
I am Seth Abner, also known as Scump, player for the Chicago Huntsmen in the Call of Duty League. I'm showing love for Dr. Henry Osman, who works at Penn State Health. He helped my grandfather personally. I see him as a hero for that. So thank you very much, Dr. Osman. Keep fighting the good fight, man. Dr. Osman.
Baby, I can feel your halo. Pray it won't fade to your halo.
And we are back, and during these tough times, no one has been more clutch than our doctors, nurses, and healthcare workers fighting on the front lines. There's an initiative going on right now with, players and teams from the CDL, and you can show some love to a healthcare hero by making a jersey in their honor and sharing it using the hashtag #TheRealHeroes. And you can check out the video. It's an amazing initiative. As much as there's so much going on in the world right now that I think everyone kind of trapped at home forgets about all the people that are out there on the front lines, Joe, and it cannot be easy. It is an insane time right now, so our respect and our love to them.
Yeah, I mean, much love to both, to all of them, honestly. I mean, just all the hard work. I can only imagine the amount of hours that they're putting in. Yeah, so this is awesome. Happy Scump's doing this. Do it at home if you can.
Very, very, very cool. And yes, if you can get involved in any way, please do. But now we'll put the focus back to the series. OpTic one map away from closing this out. I went on the record from the very beginning, kind of talking about this OpTic Gaming team. And we're going to take a look, though, first, the round 3. It's going to be your U.S. Army tactical play. But we can kind of chat through, from the beginning. I said some crazy things about OpTic. I said they should be one of the best teams. I said they should be the best team given enough time. I saw Clay just tweeted out. What did Clay tweet? He basically, he's like, it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when. Like, they were going to get to a point where they were very scary for the league. And they sure took they took their sweet time, right? They've taken their sweet time improving, but it feels like they're starting to get there. We're seeing some improvements this weekend for sure.
Yeah, so I don't even know if we're there yet. Right? Like,
no. Agreed.
But he's right. We know the star power that's on the team. I mean, just when you look at the roster on paper, we knew how scary they were going to be. And if you get guys like Kenny and TJ playing at this level, they can take any team down. That's just the way it is. But yeah, has it finally happened? That's the question.
Well, yeah. It was, a month ago where they had the run, at LA, where I thought we were starting to see it, and then they seemed to digress, and they were right back to their usual antics. But now maybe. I don't know if this is going to be their final lineup. Not sure if it's going to work, but right now it seems to be clicking, and that's why I never worried about JCap in that spot, or if it's Chino. Like, I just didn't care.
Yep.
With the other 4 players, how good they were, I didn't care who that 5th player was. If it's someone that can do the dirty work, keep the vibes high, this team can absolutely win. The problem was not only was JCap not performing, but Kenny wasn't performing, TJ wasn't performing, everybody wasn't performing. If the 4 guys can start to get into a rhythm and Chino can provide, whatever he's able to, they are frightening once again.
They are, and remember, both of these teams, I think they're around like 2 and 3 on this map, so not the best down. We saw Gunrunner yesterday, so London didn't want to play that one for obvious reasons. They outbeat on it, so they're trying to switch it up.
Well, and to be fair, when you talk about Dom, well, we saw OpTic Gaming be very, very good on Gunrunner yesterday. We saw them look very, very good on Petro today. The only map we haven't seen them look great on is maybe Hackney, at least in the past 2 days. But Dom was their best mode for quite a while when this team was even struggling.
Yeah, it was. And I just see it because it was a little bit slower than Hardpoint, right? It was just easier to get everybody on the same roll.
Well, it's OpTic Gaming trying to battle back, trying to close out this series. Let's head to an Astro Gaming listen-in with the London Royal.
Pick him up.
I'm pyramid south.
Top 3,
I think what's
back P2, back
P2.
Bottom P2.
Spawn green, yep. I stunned him, green. I hit him with an 8.
Nice, good work, Jets.
I'm gonna
They're green, so open the door.
Smoke green.
I got him both.
Nice, green.
I'm pushing C, bro. Stay left. Hold green.
That was green cross.
Alright, hold green. I push C, Nice, hold green.
Green wall, graffiti, slant, 1 shot.
With the red mech.
Slant, 1 shot.
I got it.
Green. 2 mid on me, nice. 1 more mid.
Nice, so that mid.
Good job.
Good shit.
Somebody go P3. Hold it.
Here you go.
Up on P3.
I got an 8 on B.
Top 3,
Top 3, Westkin.
Top
One side, desert, got him.
Top
Nice.
Nice, good shot, I got you, one down.
One still, bottom.
Top dead, bottom dead.
Help me. I saw middle.
Dead.
Nice.
Nice.
I'm in third.
I'm gonna try to hold your top.
Top of green.
Hold green cross. Hold green cross. I'm help him.
Bottom green.
I spawn C.
You may have just noticed a distinct lack of accents there, and that is because I'm an idiot. The Astro Gaming listen-in was with OpTic Gaming. I screwed that up, but OpTic, we're getting into it. Basically, sitting right around a tie game. They're spawning out towards C. They're losing A control. They're losing B control. Things falling apart for OpTic, but TJ doing his best today.
I mean, they started on the bad side, so they were able to get that flip. The fact that, you know, they get 3 minutes off the clock and it's a tie game is good. And what did we see yesterday on Gunrunner? When OpTic Gaming were able to get the setups that they wanted, London just couldn't get out of it time and time again. Finally able to after a few minutes on Hackney. Now they're trying to go for the neutral at C. Chino. And Chino was especially active in the listen. I loved hearing Chino, right? He was almost just like one of the leaders, just telling people where to go. But they have to get these kills right now. They are in danger of getting 3 caps. And for the last 90 seconds, London put together a very nice half.
Yeah, right as you said, they need to get these kills like everybody died, basically, on OpTic. Yeah, it's 2 in a neutral right now for Royal Ravens. So as you said, I mean, all the hard work you did starts to evaporate here in the kill moments of this half. Now, what can they do with these final 70 or so seconds? Can they get back into B? But I think where OpTic has been really strong, when they spawn on the strong side and they get the early control, they've done a great job of just kind of locking teams in that vice, whether it's the spawn trap or just good positioning to hold it in. Can they do it again in the second half? Or can Royal Ravens show some life, get us to a 4th map? I know it was a frustrating day for them to start, but they've got to they've got to be vigilant. They've got to try and fight back in this series.
And I think just too for OpTic, if you could try to reduce this lead a little bit, you would love to keep it around 15 to 20, not much more than that. As they start a big push towards B. Dylan, he's going to be the first man to deal with this, able to find one, tried sliding back, but Kenny just with a nice little pre-fire, but it looks like Dylan did enough. So there's 1 player left, and that's going to be Kenny to try to get on B. But his teammates are there. And what looked to be a bit of a scary half when it was tied 45-45 for London, but they bounced back in a big way.
Yeah, they absolutely do. That was a sensational final couple of minutes to the half for the Royal Ravens. They'll take a big lead. Not an insurmountable lead, but a 30-point lead. Looks very, very good on the scoreboard. What was that crazy swing we had with FaZe? It was like 60, 70 points or something when they had like that perfect half. Something crazy they were able to do.
Yeah, I mean, and just earlier today, right, what OpTic was able to, I mean, it was a different map on St. Petro, but they put Paris in probably one of the better spawn traps we've seen all year, and they went from like 70 points to 170 and a half.
This really, for me, comes down to the opening 60 or so seconds. OpTic have got to get early control of A and B and lock it down. And one thing to know, Slasher's 14-8. Every other player is currently negative. And a lot of times when you start on that C side, that is how the half goes for you. How much do those numbers change now in the opening of this second half?
Well, we talked about the start. It looks like things are going pretty well. Kenny's working top L, gets taken down. London's still trying to put some work towards B. Dylan was just waiting patiently for that smoke. Here comes Dylan injured. The aggressors for the London Royal Ravens. Chino tried dealing with him, but still a good amount of resources here for OpTic to deal with this.
I feel like their players would just be gun up instead of knife out or mid-reload. They probably had a chance to chain together a couple kills, but I think it was Kenny and TJ both got caught when they had a chance to locate a second. But they're able to clear them out. Ravens get in for a second. There's the all clear. B still dominated by OpTic. As Chino gets the trophy down to cover him top L. Ravens just looking for something. Any kind of crack in the armor to try and break on through. Chino doing a good job just playing his life as long as he can. He's finally going to get flanked from mid-map, but then it's Kenny that comes in with the help.
Okay, well,
Kenny with 2 there as he goes big again.
TJ just spawns up C, and then he doesn't even get on the flag. He wants to hold this AB setup, so he was going on a huge flank to help his teammates out. The neutral goes down at B, but he's in a position to cut off the reinforcements. Able to find the first kill. The nade is in that may connect for the second. It doesn't. And maybe that's one of those positions where they were playing AB so safe where there was a chance for him to get on C and just neutral it, but tried playing it safe.
Scraps went nuts too. He gets out to 17 and 17, but that was a triple all around B for him. They chipped away at it a bit. It was what they cut the lead about in half.
No,
it was a
right
little over 30
it,
points,
yeah.
now down to 15. So that was what, about a 2-minute hold approximately with the 2-cap. They lose it for a little bit, but now they get right back into it.
And you see Slasher spawns up C. He knows a lot of the pressures towards screen. His teammates need to hold middle of the map. This is a big set of kills. This could be the turning point for OpTic. You see the spawns of the green arrows. The Slasher, I think he's just going to try and cap this. Does get taken down. And his teammates held middle of the map in Grease side. Now it's TJ's turn. He finds one, can't find the second, but still now down to a 9-point lead.
Look how quickly that is Kenny on a 5 in a row at 19 and 16. Basically all the players that were negative to start the half have now turned it around. On the preferred half of things, up the top L goes Slasher. He's got help inside of B from TJ.
I mean, this just reminds me.
out across mid. This is perfect.
This reminds me so much of yesterday's dom between these two teams. As soon as OpTic had the hold on Gunrunner, London just could not get out, and they can't get out. They still have a lead. It's going to take one play. Dylan is able to sneak through B and wins a gunfight on the TJ. That's going to force a rotation, but the neutral is not there. Yeah. Nice shots by Dashy. The double headshots from him.
That was even much of a rotation. That was more just someone turning their head and smoking it from top L as they just deal with it so quickly. There's the lead now to OpTic Gaming with 90 seconds to go. Ravens have been trapped. This is exactly what I said the first half. Like, usually if OpTic gets this set up, like, they can lock it in. And wow, have they done it wondrously outside of what? That, like, 15 to 20 second span where Ravens had a chance. Then they get locked right back down.
Yeah, and TJ goes big. I mean, TJ was the last man up in B. He found an 8 kill, finds the second. Now his teammates are behind him. A London push coming through the middle of the map. All 4 players trying to get into B. Slasher top AC. Slasher top AC. Able to find the second on a Wuskid. And the game is slipping away right now for London. Now up to 9 points. That's going to be going to 10. And it's all green in the kill feed right now.
Nearing that point of impossibility for the Royal Ravens to avoid the hot 3-0. OpTic Gaming with Chino in the lineup now seem to be coming alive as they look to get into their second semifinal appearance. A date with your Toronto Ultra. And this is not what we expected. This is not the semifinal we expected. I had OpTic, so I'd won part of it right. I think I'm the only person on that was crazy enough to take that. But everything else, I mean, this is probably the most unlikely pairing that you possibly could have had for the semifinal out of that side. Just unbelievable.
And they looked much better in the response today, didn't they? Especially that Hardpoint. I mean, the players that, I mean, especially Kenny, didn't have the best series versus London yesterday. He steps up big time for his team, and OpTic Gaming LA, they find themselves in a semifinal.
And I think that is one of the first times the entire year that they feel good about a series of Call of Duty.
Yeah,
I mean, the only other one I can really think of is what, they 3-0'd Røkkr?
Yep.
Back in LA. Like, that was a really convincing one. But outside of that, I mean, if you go to their Twitter accounts right after a series, it's excuses or it's just, you know, they're sad, they're not feeling good, they're not having fun. I think they were having some fun there, Joe. I think they were.
And now it just, you know, for London, it's question mark time. What's the play from here? We talk about all these other teams and roster moves, and you know, obviously they pick up Nasty. Some Visa stuff comes up with Shawnee. Is that gonna save them? Is Nasty going to save this team if they put him in this lineup? And I just don't know the answer to that question right now.
And I guess I'm worried. I mean, I know that people will make excuses and you'll look at what happened to them to start the day versus FaZe. I understand that's a frustrating circumstance, but in my eyes, they weren't beating FaZe anyway. So just throw that out the window. You needed to come and you needed to play better against OpTic. And all the hype we had from, you know, losing to what FaZe and Huntsman last weekend, I think we expected more, right? Like, we expected a better performance here from London. Most people, I think, had them coming to a semifinal. Now, it's unfortunate that you have to run to FaZe, then you run into an OpTic that is seemingly improving as well, but yeah, I guess I just expected more.
It's not unfortunate though at this point, right? Like, it's just that everybody's really good right now. Like, people are improving. And this was a big group for them for the potential to get into a semifinal. We talked about it. Like, this was one of the events where, you don't have Huntsman, you don't have Dallas, an opportunity to get into a semifinal. You just didn't. You didn't do it, and now it's just it's a scary time for them.
Yeah, it's weird how fast your opinion of teams can change in this league. And you can say it's online, you can say whatever you want, but teams are getting better, and there's just going to be a lot of upsets. But I mean, I'm trying to think of how my feelings have swung on. Like, New York, it's been so up and down. London, it's been so up and down. OpTic, it's been up and down. Toronto, I don't know what the hell I'm seeing. Like, it's just crazy how quickly things change. Like, it really is with this format, man. It seems it's week to week. It's going to be week to week, man. You have to.
I will say, though, I just looked at the next home series that we have in Seattle, and they do have another chance in a group. It's like with Gorillas, Seattle, and New York. So there's a chance there for them, like, where maybe they bring Nasty in, but still, we know that those won't always be the case.
It's very, very true. We'll take a look at the updated bracket. We have our first semifinal locked in. It's going to be Ultra going up against OpTic Gaming. Then our final match to close out the night. It's Røkkr. It's Subliners for a date with FaZe.
That'll be a fun one.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that series?
The way Subliners looked, I mean, this morning or this afternoon, they looked a lot better than I think what we saw yesterday. So I'm a little bit worried for Røkkr. I really am. Just what we saw, I thought was not the best showing today. And it was really around their respawns. And now you're going up against a very strong respawn team. Do I think they're still good enough? Absolutely. I mean, I picked them to get out of the group, but I didn't know if they were going to run into New York, to get out. So it should be a tough match for both teams.
No, I think it should be an awesome one. I just hope it's better than this one, right? Like, I don't think either of us thought this would be a 3-0. I thought this was going to be a Game 4, Game 5 series without question. I mean, they go the distance yesterday. With the way they were playing, you thought it'd be a little bit more evenly matched. If there was going to be a 3-0, many probably would have guessed it'd be coming from the Royal Ravens side of things. But I did not see this as a 3-0 series. That's going to be tough for Royal Ravens fans. And I'm just hoping for the next series it's much more of a fight.
Yeah, and again, I give major props to OpTic Gaming, major props to, probably Pac-Man, who was doing their vetoes. I like the way they switched up this series. They got away from Piccadilly. What happens when you get a Petrograd? You sort of, yes, you have Dashy on your team, who's a great sniper, but you really limit Wuskin and what he can do in the search and destroy. And then you get rid of that Hackney yard hardpoint. You put Slasher and Chino in your team onto a more AR map where I know they didn't have the best performances, but I just liked what they did with this map set.
That's true. That is true. OpTic get the convincing win. And to come up in the interview after this quick break, it's Big Money Gene!